It's showtime. Hey everybody, it's the Rock 100 and welcome back to more of Pokemon HeartGold. Last time, we did a little bit of exploring around the Johto region, going through places that we have not really been to yet, since we now have Surf on foot. I actually got it this time. And we didn't cover through most of it, because I was running out of time, and we also had Union Cave to take care of, and I also have with me Messi right here. And this time, it's time to head on for the next location, which is through this cave. But before I go any further, I do want to give a special shout out to Adam Smasher 93, who actually told me of the two Pokemon. I thought there was only one, but it turns out there's actually two of the Pokemon that we can find in the grassy area of the Ruinabout. So thank you so much, dude. Those two Pokemon are Xatu and Smeargle. Xatu is a Psychic Flying type. This is a very odd combination. And do I recommend this? Ish. I will say one thing though. This thing is practically balanced out by the time it evolves and later on. It is pretty late for it to evolve. But if you have not gotten a Flying type already, now might be a pretty good time for you to actually have one ready to go because, well, let's face it, we're going to go all over the place when the time comes. So Xatu's here, but I only recommend this for a flying user. Next up is Smeargle. Smeargle is a very odd Pokemon. I say odd for a plethora of reasons. One, it's a pure normal type, which I guess is okay. But when you look at its signature move, Sketch, this means that it is capable of practically learning every single move, which means it has the highest move pool that it could potentially learn. Now, before you say anything, I do know of TMs, HMs, eggs, and all that. But you gotta think about it. Sketch is an ability, well, I wouldn't say, but it's a move that it could practically is like another version of Mimic. So, do I really recommend this Pokemon? Probably not that much, but it's there if you want it. I only recommended it for a catching spree. Alright, well anyway, thank you so much, dude. Once again, I owe you a good one. I owe you some thanks. Did you know there's a safari zone just around the corner? It's really fun. You will see many different kinds of Pokemon and it's all you can catch. There's no reason not to go, right? Just around the corner. It won't take you long. Why don't you drop by, won't you? I will do that. Alright, it's just over there. Go upstairs and you'll be outside, then it's only a few paces away. Well, I got nothing to worry about then. Okay, so Route 47. We are now entering some new territory that was never in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, but there was that gigantic open area in the Johto map that was never actually used. It was never, I bet it was probably something that was meant to be added on. But the developers realized that since they were going to be adding Kanto into this, it was probably more than how much the cartridge could handle. But anyway, I'm getting a lot off topic. But let's go ahead and talk about the 3 new Pokemon that you could potentially find in Route 47. First off is Fearow, the evolution of Spearow. Fearow is that generic final evolution of a Pokemon that is more powerful and is great to use. Do I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend this a lot because now will be the time for you to catch a really good flying type Pokemon if you have yet to catch one. Like I said, you're going to be doing some moving around, well, I guess flying around as much as possible. But in all seriousness, having a Fearow is not bad. I mean, you should probably already have one by now if you chose Spearow from before, but the reason for why is that you want to be flying around a lot. And plus, it has some great physical attack stats. Next up is Gloom. Gloom is another grass poison type, the evolution of Oddish. This is a very odd Pokemon. It could potentially evolve into 1 or 2 Pokemon, and I will go ahead and cover those 2 Pokemon as well. With the use of a Leaf Stone, you will get Vileplume. Vileplume is another grass poison type, and this thing is greater, but when it comes into use of being a Sun Summoner. If you can get a good Sun Summoner on your team, this thing is a monster, especially since it has Chlorophyll for the ability, which doubles its speed while in direct sunlight. I mean, who doesn't like fast movements? But on the flip side, you also would have Blossom. Blossom will evolve from Gloom with the use of a Sunstone. This is a mono grass type that I feel like is kind of overshadowed by Vileplume. Now, I'm not hating on it, but I just feel like Vileplume is a little bit more viable. So, your choices are, do you want a fast special attacker with the right ability and moveset, or do you want a mono grass type that's not as good, but at least has such good potential? And my guess, I'd go for Vileplume. Now, through surfing, we can find Seal. Seal is a pure water type, and it will later evolve into a part ice type at a pretty late level. Is it any worth it? Not really. I mean, Lapras is a water ice type, and I think this thing is probably a Pokemon that is greatly overshadowed by Lapras. So, Seal is okay, but if you're looking for a good water type, Totodile is probably a better choice. But if you need a water type that's good for something, this is okay. I only recommended her for a catching spree. Okay. Man, I've been talking a lot about it with these bios, but it's only going to get worse later on. Well, actually, probably in a little bit. So, I've also made a little bit of something. I did some thinking on something, and you guys are probably wondering, why is Nessie still here? I got one word for you. Surprise! It is the 5th member of my team. I decided to go for an ice type. And ice types are very uncommonly used throughout this game. And it's kind of sad when you think about it. If you see a fork in the road inside a cave, most likely one way is right and the other leads to a dead end. But people can't help trying both. Do you want to go up the ladder or go down the ladder? Well, I could, but let's go down first. Now, Cliff Cave. I have a lot of interesting things to say about this thing. For being such a very small dungeon, we actually have 5 new Pokemon that we could potentially find. One of them is probably this Pokemon. Never mind. First up is Golbat. Golbat is the evolution of Zubat. It is much faster, and this is when it starts learning some really good Poison-type moves. In fact, Poison Fang, it can learn it by leveling up, and it is one of those moves that causes badly poisons, which means it gets worse as time goes on. If you're looking for something that good, Golbat's a good one. The downside is to evolve it, so you need to have it in its maximum happiness to happen, which will come into Crobat, which is a damn fast Pokemon, and it's ugly. Next up is Kingler. Kingler, the evolution of Krabby. We ran into one a little bit ago. This is a hard-hitting crab. At this point, it should know Crab Hammer by now. If you are looking for a very, very good physically offensive water type, Kingler is your guy. One of the biggest downsides is that Crab Hammer is the only good move that it'll learn that will help out with the same type of attack bonus, but it can learn Waterfall with the use of the HM, which you haven't gotten yet. But if you are looking for a very good physically offensive water type, Kingler's your guy. Next up is Quagsire, or Quagmire as I used to call him. Quagsire! The evolution of Wooper, which is a water ground type, having only one weakness, which is grass. And if there's one really good thing I can say about it, it only has one weakness, which is grass. And not only can it resist electric, but remember when I said earlier that I recommend that you catch a ground type at the very least? I'm not joking. This thing is a very good Pokemon to have. Trust me when I say I used one before and it served me well. Next up is this Pokemon, Mischievous. Mischievous! As a bit of a cool little trivia, it is the very first pure ghost type Pokemon to ever be created. It took them until the second generation to create it. This thing is okay, I guess. It is balanced. I will give it that. But one of the biggest problems that I have with Mischievous is that it is very frail. And since it's a pure ghost type, it only knows very little ghost type moves through leveling up. So if you're looking for any good ghost type, Gas is probably got to be your best bet on this one. And now it can potentially evolve with the use of a Dusk Stone, which you haven't gotten yet. But I think you're probably better off with Ghastly. Next up, only a 2% chance of finding this thing, Steelix. Steelix is a ground steel type or steel ground type. Who cares? This thing is a beast. It evolves from an Onyx with the use of a metal coat while holding it through a trade. But when you can just finding out here in the wild, that says a lot about how good this thing really is. If you're looking for a great physical wall, Steelix is great. The downside is, it's slow, it does have a few number of weaknesses, and it's hard to find. But, if you can find one here in the Cliff Cave, I commend you greatly, and then you have gotten yourself one of, if not the best steel/ground type Pokemon in the second generation. Oh boy, I'm talking a lot, and I need to probably catch my breath. Now, I'm really doing a lot of leveling up from Nessie because, like I said from before, we catch it at level 20 only on Fridays at the Union Cave. So, it's hard to use, but when used correctly and leveled up properly, this thing is great. So go ahead and throw up a repel. Alright, I'll stop making that joke. We are close by to an item. Nope. Okay. But I know that up here, maybe? I know we have a waterfall over there, but we can't access anything with it yet. But, right here, we have a pearl! Hey, free money! And, okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Whenever I see Lapras on shore like that, I can't stop help but thinking about more of Ash's Lapras. How it was beached up on shore like that, and it... Okay! We have a high-level Tentacool right here! Hey, buddy! Goodbye! Don't know how that happened. But yeah, whenever I saw that episode, it really made me grit my teeth when I seen poachers do that to Ash's Lapras. I mean, what did Lapras ever do to them? I mean, all she was just doing was being the transport Pokemon, and she practically did no harm to anyone, but was not willing to hold back for when needed. In fact, if you recall from his Pokédex entry, they are very often caught, and their species were dwindling. So, I guess you could say they're kind of an endangered species, in a way. Alright. Sorry. Can I please leave? Why the hell not? Fine. You know, Golbat, you really are kind of pitting this on yourself because my Lapras has a ton of HP and she's really good for... Actually, he knows of what he's doing. Okay. But yes, I've ultimately decided to use Lapras on my team because I think in this game it is a very underused Pokemon because they're so hard to find. especially when you can only find them at a specific point in Union Cave, and only on Fridays. But you gotta think about this. How often do you see one use a Lapras in the game? And apparently the hidden item I found here was a wild Pokemon, which is another gold bat.
What the freaking dare!
But I think it's a... Wait a minute. I think there may be a move reminder or somewhere where I could take him to see what kind of moves that it didn't learn from the past. If I could do that... I wonder what moves that it learned from the past. In fact, I actually did not look more into the moves that person would have in the past. But in other case, I'm just gonna do this one for the moment. Oh. You don't challenge me. Well then, sucks to be you. There's an item down there, but I'll find out what that is later on. But I will say one thing. I'm looking forward to exploring more of this place. Lagging Tail. I think this is a very heavy item that slows down your Pokemon. Let me check. Yeah, it's a tremendously heavy and makes the holder move slower than usual. So this is a great move for moves unlike, say, Gyro Ball, which is a very nice Steel type move that the slower the Pokemon is, the greater the damage. Duff and Edda. Okay. While we're talking about this, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, look at these two Pokemon from right here. There has been a rumor going around in the past that even to this day, it is believed that when a Cloyster and an Onix are on, it is classified as an innuendo. Now tell me something. What do you get when you combine a Cloyster with an Onix that's on their team and it's a boyfriend and girlfriend? I think you and I both know where this is going. This is an innuendo at its finest. And I really want to get more into using counter, and I actually really want to use this move. You can hit me? No! What? What are you two doing? You're practically leaving Rhino behind. What is the matter with you? Well, Rhino's level 29. Yay. Alright, I'm gonna give it one last chance. And if it does not work, yep, I'm gonna get rid of counter. I think it was probably the dumbest idea of getting rid of Horn Attack. Well, actually, I think I still have technically one more chance into this. So, let's see on how it freaking works. Okay, I'm giving it the shaft. Okay. I was no match for you. You're really something. Wait, thank you, Tulu. But yeah, Heracross, you're getting rid of counter. Because it was a terrible mistake of getting rid of Horn Attack from the beginning. But anyway, Route 48 has 2 new Pokemon that we can find. And unfortunately, this is not one of them. This is a great place to do some kind of training if you need to. One of the Pokemon that you can find out here is Diglett. Diglett! This thing is known as the ultimate revenge killer for a reason. It has some of the highest base speed out of most ground type Pokemon. Not to mention that it can outrun almost anything. Now, it's not the fastest of Pokemon out there. But what it has for speed, it lacks in everything else. It has low HP and is frail in more places than one. So if you're looking for any and all good and fast ground types, this is a good one. But like I said, this thing is what I like to call a very frail sweeper. Next up is Girafarig. Girafarig is a normal psychic type. Hey, funny little trivia, it's Girafarig spelled backwards. For a Pokemon that is only weak to Bug and Dark, this thing is actually a very good Pokemon. You can counteract against many things, like this thing can counteract against fighting types, and it can also counteract against ghost types. If you're having problems with, well, any of those Pokemon, Dragoni's great. But if I'm gonna be straight up honest with you, it does not live up to its. It does not live up to what many psychic types are known for being decent special attackers. Now, I will say one thing. It has a very unique type, and no other Pokemon has trumped it for what it is. But the biggest problem is that I don't think it really matches up to other psychic types, let alone normal types as well. So, it's here if you want it, but otherwise, stay away. And welcome to the Safari Zone! Well, the gate to the Safari Zone. I need to heal! So yeah, we have the 5th member of the team, but this now leads to the ultimate question. Where on Earth could the final member of the team be? Looks like we're in paradise. To take us to paradise. Okay, no. I have always wanted to catch my first Pokemon in the Safari Zone. Well, good for you. Safari, it is so much fun. So many Pokemon are waiting for us. That is a song I made up. And you know what? You suck at singing. I'm not a talker. Excuse you too. I decided to carry Pokemon drinks. This one will be new to me, but I will do my best. Welcome! What do you need? This guy will sell us drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. It makes me feel like I am in a foreign country. It brings up a strange feeling. Oh, my buy some? Can you wait while I get ready? Just a minute. Okay, what do you need? Lady, where have you been all my life? Because I would love to buy these 10 balls from you. That sounded very wrong by the way how I said it, but Dusk Balls and Quick Balls. One of the best balls ever. Being able to have a ×3 multiplier at this point with a Quick Ball, and having a ×3 multiplier at night or in a cave with a Dusk Ball? What's not to like? This is a brand new Safari Zone, by the way. I just had an idea. Would you like to take the owner altitude test? Sure. Right on, let me explain how the test works. It's very easy. All you have to do is just catch one Geodude at the Safari and show it to me. They're in the grass closet next to the entrance. Shouldn't take long before you catch them. Good luck. What? Hey, do you remember my super cool Rattata? A Rattata is different from regular Rattatas. It's like my Rattata is in the top percentage of Rattata. You really like repeating yourself on this, don't you? For just 500, you can play in the Safari Zone. If there's one thing that I can say about the Safari Zone, is this place is crawling. Crawling with Pokemon. And some of them are not quite accessible at this very point in the game, but yeesh. Now some of these Pokemon are kind of low leveled, so if you are looking for any good Pokemon, they will be hard to catch. But I will say one thing, when you find the right Pokemon that you're looking for in here, it makes it all worthwhile for you. And there's our Geodude. We have a Safari ball right here. Nope. Now, these Pokemon. Now you can't have any Pokemon out there to fly with you because, well, hence the rule of Safari Zone. But it does change quite a bit in Generation 6, and when you can fight with your Pokemon by your side from out here. And oh my god, Geodude! Oh my god! I I just want to catch a stupid Geodude. And hey, this one's a higher level, so here goes something. Thank you. But yeah, there are a ton of Pokemon that you can find both in the post-game and even when you obtain the National Dex. Just yeesh. There is a lot of Pokemon that you can find throughout the entire biome, except from what you can find out here. Of course, well, like I said, these are some pretty low-level Pokemon, but if you're doing any kind of catch-em-all spree, this is the place to do it. Now, I don't know if there are any good Pokemon that we can find out here. Like, there's a Gloom right there, but overall, I think a majority of these Pokemon are Pokemon that we can already find in the wild from earlier. But since we're mostly here just to catch that Geodude, does Safari Zone? Is Safari Zone? Yes. Alright. Alright, so let's see here. What is this? Nothing. Alright. So I am going to show him that one Geodude, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna call quits for this episode. So let's see here. Now I am gonna do some training out here for the time being, because I need to get Nessie up with the rest of the team. So, Nocto, you'll sit this one out for a little bit, but I will need you for something a little bit later on when we head back to Olivine City, because we have a gym match to take care of. Oh, wonderful! We caught a Geodude. You passed the first test. Huh? Did I tell you that there are 2 tests? That's right, becoming the owner is not that easy. Second test is, well, I'm so prepared for it. I will let you know once it's ready. You will need to wait just a little, I will call you with the Pokegear. Now, after 3 gameplay hours of this, which will probably be like maybe a couple episodes later for me, he'll give us a call, and we will be told of our next task. But what will that task be? Well, you just got to wait and find out on that one, because I'm all out of time for this episode. So thank you all so much for watching. Check out some more videos that I've done, and next time on Pokemon Heart Gold, we're heading back to Olivine City to finally take on that challenge with Jasmine. See you guys then.